Chocolate's journey exposes a truth far larger than cocoa or candy. It reveals how modern power no longer relies on force, fear, or visible domination, but on design. The defining lesson of this story is simple and deeply uncomfortable. The most effective systems of control are built to feel normal. Chocolate began as a rare privilege, reserved for elites. That was not accidental. Luxury is always the testing ground. It allows systems to experiment, refine, and perfect control on a small scale before expanding it to the masses. Once the structure is stable, access widens, not to empower people, but to normalize dependence. When chocolate became cheap and abundant, it did not become fair. It became efficient. Efficiency in modern systems does not mean balance or justice. It means maximizing output while minimizing visibility of cost. The suffering did not disappear. It was simply pushed farther away, geographically and psychologically, until consumers no longer felt connected to it. This is the true moral. Distance is the currency of exploitation. As long as producers remain invisible and consequences remain abstract, systems remain unchallenged. Pleasure becomes a shield. Comfort becomes a distraction. And questioning the system begins to feel unnecessary, even unreasonable. Chocolate teaches us that control does not need to restrict choice, it only needs to shape desire. When people want what the system provides, resistance collapses on its own. Consumption replaces coercion. And this logic did not end with chocolate. It became the foundation of modern economics. Debt works the same way. Digital platforms work the same way. Fast consumption, instant gratification, endless choice, all designed to keep people engaged, dependent, and disengaged from structural reality. What makes these systems durable is not cruelty, but familiarity. Once something becomes routine, it stops being examined. Once it becomes emotional, tied to comfort, reward, or identity, it becomes protected. That is why reform struggles to succeed. Surface fixes address symptoms, not structure. Labels change. Language softens. But the underlying mechanics remain intact because they serve those closest to power. The deeper warning here is this: any system that requires ignorance to function will invest heavily in comfort. Chocolate did not become a global staple because it nourished societies. It became one because it trained them to consume without asking, to enjoy without tracing consequences, and to accept imbalance as normal. The real danger is not exploitation itself. It is habituation. When imbalance feels ordinary, it becomes permanent. Understanding this does not require rejecting comfort or moral purity. It requires awareness. It requires recognizing that every system tells a story, and that pleasant stories often hide inconvenient truths. If history teaches us anything, it is this: power evolves faster than resistance, but slower than awareness. And awareness begins when we stop asking, "Is this enjoyable?" Start asking, "What system made this possible?" Because the moment we reconnect pleasure with consequence, control loses its invisibility. And once control is visible, it is no longer absolute. That is the real lesson chocolate leaves behind, not about food, but about how quietly power works when we stop paying attention.